Hi there, sweet dreamers. Welcome to Sweet Dreams. Tonight, join Elena on a mesmerizing safari through the Maasai Mara. Witness the majestic Big Five, the dramatic Great Migration, and immerse in Maasai culture. Let Africa's wilderness lull you into peaceful slumber. Chapter 1: The Departure. Elena's fingers trembled slightly as she zipped up her suitcase, the culmination of months of meticulous planning. This trip to Africa was more than just a vacation. It was a pilgrimage, a long-held dream finally coming to fruition. The humdrum of her everyday life as a graphic designer in Seattle had grown stifling, and she yearned for an adventure that would rekindle her spirit and broaden her horizons. She had always been fascinated by the wildlife documentaries she watched as a child, the vast savannas of Africa teeming with majestic creatures. Now, at 35, she was finally making the leap from the screen to the scene itself. Elena's friends and family had mixed reactions. Some envied her boldness, while others worried about the dangers that lay ahead. But Elena was determined, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a longing to connect with nature in its rawest form. The flight to Nairobi was long, but Elena hardly noticed. Her mind was filled with images of the adventures awaiting her. When the plane touched down at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, she felt a surge of excitement. The air was warm and fragrant, carrying the scents of unfamiliar flowers and distant fires. She was greeted by a representative from the safari company, holding a sign with her name on it. "Welcome to Kenya, Miss Elena," the representative said with a warm smile. "My name is Kofi, and I'll be your guide for this journey." Kofi was a tall, broad-shouldered man with kind eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 stories. As they drove through the bustling streets of Nairobi, he shared some of those stories, painting vivid pictures of the landscapes and wildlife they would soon encounter. Nairobi was a vibrant tapestry of colors and sounds. Elena marveled at the contrast between modern skyscrapers and traditional markets, the cacophony of car horns mingling with the melodious calls to prayer. She spent the night at a quaint lodge on the outskirts of the city, where she met the rest of the group, a diverse mix of people from different parts of the world, all drawn by the same promise of adventure. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the city, Elena felt a sense of camaraderie with her fellow travelers. They shared stories of their own lives, their reasons for embarking on this safari, and their hopes for the journey ahead. There was Peter, a retired school teacher from England, Maria, a wildlife photographer from Spain, and Jack and Jill, a young couple from Australia on their honeymoon. Kofi briefed them on what to expect in the coming days, emphasizing the importance of respecting the wildlife and the environment. "We are guests in their home," he reminded them, "and we must tread lightly." The next morning, they set off for the Maasai Mara National Reserve. The drive was long but exhilarating, the landscape shifting from bustling cityscapes to rolling hills and expansive savannas. They stopped occasionally to stretch their legs and take in the breathtaking views. Elena found herself drawn to the vastness of the land, the way it seemed to stretch infinitely in every direction. As they entered the Maasai Mara, the atmosphere changed. The air grew quieter, more reverent. It was as if they had crossed a threshold into a different world, one where humans were mere spectators in the grand drama of life unfolding before them. They set up their first camp, a collection of tents nestled in a grove of acacia trees. That evening, they gathered around a campfire, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows on their faces. Kofi regaled them with tales of his many safaris, of close encounters with lions and heart-stopping chases through the bush. The night was alive with the sounds of the wild, the distant roar of a lion, the eerie call of a hyena, and the gentle rustle of the wind through the trees. Elena lay in her tent that night, listening to the symphony of the African night. Her heart was full, her mind racing with the possibilities of what the next days would bring. As she drifted off to sleep, she felt a profound sense of peace, as if she were exactly where she was meant to be. Chapter 2: First Impressions. Morning in the Maasai Mara arrived with a soft glow of dawn, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. The camp was already buzzing with activity as the group prepared for their first day of exploration. Elena emerged from her tent, feeling the cool morning air and the thrill of anticipation. Breakfast was a simple yet hearty affair. Fresh fruit, scrambled eggs, and strong Kenyan coffee. Kofi briefed them on the day's itinerary, emphasizing the importance of silence and patience. The animals are most active in the early morning and late afternoon, he explained. We must respect their space and observe from a distance. Their vehicles, rugged 4x4s, equipped with open roofs for optimal viewing, were ready. Elena climbed into one, taking a seat beside Maria, the wildlife photographer. Maria's camera was already in hand, her eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of movement. As they drove into the heart of the reserve, the landscape unfolded like a living painting. Golden grasses swayed in the breeze, dotted with the occasional acacia tree. Herds of zebras and antelopes grazed peacefully, their black and white stripes and sleek bodies blending harmoniously with the surroundings. The first sighting of the day was a pride of lions lounging under a tree. Elena's heart skipped a beat as she watched the majestic creatures up close. The lionesses were alert, their golden eyes scanning the plains, while the cubs playfully tumbled over each other. The male, with his magnificent mane, lay slightly apart, exuding a regal presence. Kofi stopped the vehicle a respectful distance away. The lions are the rulers of this land, he whispered. Observe their behavior, see how they interact. Each pride has its own dynamics and hierarchy. Elena watched, mesmerized, as the lionesses groomed each other and the cubs pounced and played. She felt a deep connection to this scene, a reminder of the intricate web of life that connected all beings. Maria clicked away, capturing the essence of the moment in her photographs. As the day progressed, they encountered more of Africa's iconic wildlife. A herd of elephants lumbered across their path, their massive forms moving with surprising grace. Elena marveled at their size and the intelligence visible in their eyes. Kofi shared stories of the elephants' complex social structures and their deep familial bonds. They spotted giraffes nibbling on the tender leaves of tall trees, their long necks swaying elegantly. Buffaloes moved in dense groups, their sheer numbers a testament to their strength in unity. Each sighting brought a new wave of awe and wonder, deepening Elena's appreciation for the natural world. The highlight of the day came in the form of a sleek, spotted predator lounging on a rocky outcrop. A lone cheetah, its lithe body stretched out in the sun, scanned the horizon with keen eyes. Kofi explained that cheetahs were solitary hunters, relying on their incredible speed to catch prey. Elena's heart raced as they watched the cheetah suddenly tense, its muscles coiling like a spring. In a blur of motion, it sprang into action, chasing down a gazelle with breathtaking speed. The chase was over in seconds, and the cheetah's efficiency left the group in silent awe. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the plains, they returned to camp. The day's adventures had left them exhilarated, but also reflective. Around the campfire that evening, they shared their thoughts and feelings, each person touched in different ways by the beauty and brutality of the natural world. Elena listened as Peter spoke about the interconnectedness of life, and Jill shared her excitement about the wildlife she had seen. Kofi's tales of past safaris added a layer of depth to their experiences, reminding them of the rich history and traditions of the land they were exploring. That night, as Elena lay in her tent, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The sights and sounds of the Maasai Mara had filled her with a new understanding of life and its delicate balance. She drifted off to sleep with the distant roar of a lion echoing in her ears, feeling both humbled and inspired by the day's encounters. Chapter 3: Into the Wild. The second day began with the sun rising over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the savanna. Elena woke to the sounds of birds chirping and the gentle rustle of leaves. The camp was already stirring, and she felt a surge of excitement for the adventures that lay ahead. After a quick breakfast, they set out for a deeper exploration of the Maasai Mara. Kofi led them through winding paths, his knowledge of the terrain and the wildlife evident in every decision he made. The group's anticipation grew with each passing moment, their eyes scanning the landscape for signs of movement. Their first encounter of the day was with a herd of wildebeest. Thousands of them moved as one, a living river of hooves and horns. Elena was struck by the sheer number and the coordinated chaos of their movements. Kofi explained that they were part of the Great Migration, one of the most spectacular wildlife events on the planet. The wildebeest migrate in search of fresh grazing, Kofi said. It's a perilous journey, fraught with dangers, but it's a testament to their resilience and the cycles of nature. As they watched, a group of wildebeest approached a river, hesitating at the water's edge. The tension was palpable, the air thick with anticipation. Suddenly, a crocodile lunged from the water, jaws snapping shut around an unfortunate wildebeest. The group gasped in unison, the brutal reality of nature laid bare before them. Elena's heart raced, her emotions a mix of horror and fascination. The wildebeest quickly regrouped, and the crossing continued, a reminder of the relentless drive for survival that permeated the animal kingdom. She felt a deep respect for the creatures and their unyielding determination. The day continued with more incredible sightings. They watched a pair of leopards lounging in a tree, their spotted coats blending seamlessly with the dappled sunlight. A family of warthogs trotted by, their tails held high like little flags. Each moment was a new discovery, a testament to the rich biodiversity of the Maasai Mara. In the afternoon, they visited a Maasai village. The village was a vibrant hub of activity, with children playing and women weaving intricate beadwork. The Maasai people welcomed them warmly, their smiles genuine and their hospitality heartfelt. Elena was particularly drawn to Nia, a young Maasai girl with bright eyes and an infectious laugh. Nia took Elena by the hand, leading her through the village and explaining their customs and way of life. Elena learned about the Maasai's deep connection to the land and their traditions that had been passed down through generations. That evening, back at camp, Elena felt a profound sense of connection. She had witnessed the raw beauty of nature and the resilience of the human spirit. The group's bond grew stronger as they shared their experiences, each story adding to the rich tapestry of their journey. Around the campfire, Kofi told them about the constellations visible in the African sky. The stars seemed to shine brighter here, their light unfiltered by city pollution. Elena lay back on her blanket, gazing up at the Milky Way, feeling a sense of wonder and insignificance in the face of the universe. As she drifted off to sleep, Elena felt a deep sense of peace. The Maasai Mara had opened her eyes to the beauty and brutality of life, and she felt privileged to be a part of it, even if only for a short time. Chapter 4: The Big Five. The third day began with the soft light of dawn filtering through the trees. Elena awoke with a sense of anticipation, knowing that today they would seek out the Big Five: the lion, elephant, buffalo, leopard, and rhinoceros. These animals, once the most coveted by hunters, were now the most sought after by wildlife enthusiasts. Kofi briefed them during breakfast, emphasizing the importance of patience and respect. The Big Five are elusive, he said. We may not see them all, but the journey itself is the reward. Their first sighting was a pair of rhinos grazing near a waterhole. The sheer size and power of these creatures were awe-inspiring. Kofi explained the critical role rhinos played in the ecosystem and the threats they faced from poaching. Elena felt a pang of sadness, realizing how fragile the balance of nature was. Next, they encountered a herd of elephants. The matriarch led her family through the bush, her trunk occasionally reaching out to guide the younger ones. Elena was struck by the elephants' intelligence and their strong social bonds. Watching them interact was like witnessing a close-knit family, each member playing a vital role. The buffalo sighting was more intense. They came across a massive herd, the animals' dark eyes watching them warily. Kofi warned them to keep a safe distance, as buffaloes were known for their unpredictable nature. The air was thick with tension, the raw power of the herd palpable. As they drove deeper into the reserve, Kofi received a radio call about a leopard sighting. They sped to the location, hearts pounding with excitement. There, lounging on a low branch, was a magnificent leopard. Its spotted coat was a masterpiece of natural camouflage, blending seamlessly with the foliage. Elena's breath caught in her throat as she watched the leopard. It moved with a grace and elegance that was mesmerizing. Kofi shared that leopards were solitary creatures, their strength and stealth making them formidable hunters. The leopard's eyes met Elena's for a brief moment, and she felt a connection that was both thrilling and humbling. The final sighting of the day was a pride of lions. They found the pride resting in the shade, the lionesses alert while the cubs played nearby. The male lion, his mane a dark halo, watched over his family with a regal air. Elena was captivated by the lion's power and grace, their presence commanding respect. As the sun set, painting the sky in brilliant hues of orange and pink, they returned to camp. The day's encounters had left Elena in awe of the natural world and its inhabitants. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness such beauty. That night, around the campfire, the group shared their thoughts and reflections. Each person had been touched in different ways by the day's experiences. Peter spoke about the importance of conservation, while Maria shared her hopes that her photographs would inspire others to protect these incredible animals. Elena lay in her tent, the sounds of the African night lulling her to sleep. She felt a profound connection to the land and its creatures, a sense of being part of something much larger than herself. The Big Five had not only met, but exceeded her expectations, leaving her with memories that would last a lifetime. Chapter 5: The Unexpected Encounter. The fourth day dawned with a sense of anticipation. The group set out early, eager to see what surprises the Maasai Mara had in store for them. The air was crisp and the sky clear, promising a perfect day for exploration. As they drove through the savanna, Kofi pointed out various birds and smaller animals, each with its own unique role in the ecosystem. Elena felt a growing appreciation for the intricate web of life that sustained this incredible landscape. Late in the morning, they came across a sight that took Elena's breath away: a lone cheetah resting on a termite mound. The cheetah's sleek body and distinctive spots made it a striking figure against the golden grass. Kofi stopped the vehicle a safe distance away, allowing them to observe without disturbing the animal. The cheetah seemed relaxed, its eyes half closed as it surveyed the surroundings. Kofi explained that cheetahs were daytime hunters, relying on their incredible speed to catch prey. Elena watched in awe as the cheetah yawned, revealing sharp teeth, and then settled down to groom itself. Suddenly, the cheetah's posture changed. It stood up, muscles tensed, eyes focused on a distant point. The group followed its gaze and saw a herd of impalas grazing not far away. The tension in the air was palpable as the cheetah began to stalk, moving with fluid grace through the tall grass. Elena's heart pounded as she watched the hunt unfold. The cheetah moved closer, using the terrain to its advantage, getting within striking distance. Then, with a burst of speed that was almost too fast to follow, it sprinted towards the herd. The impalas scattered, but the cheetah's focus was unwavering. In a matter of seconds, the cheetah brought down an impala. The group watched in silent awe as the cheetah caught its breath, then began to feed. It was a powerful reminder of the raw and unforgiving nature of the wild, where survival depended on speed and strength. The encounter left Elena reflective. She marveled at the cheetah's grace and power, but also felt a pang of empathy for the impala. It was a stark illustration of the circle of life, each creature playing its part in the ecosystem. The rest of the day was spent exploring more of the Maasai Mara. They saw hippos wallowing in the river, crocodiles basking on the banks, and a variety of birds filling the air with their songs. Each moment was a new discovery, adding to the rich tapestry of their safari experience. That evening, back at camp, the group gathered around the campfire to share their thoughts. The cheetah encounter had been a highlight for everyone, a vivid reminder of the wild's beauty and brutality. Kofi shared stories of other close encounters he had witnessed, each one unique and unforgettable. Elena felt a deep sense of gratitude as she listened to Kofi's tales. The Maasai Mara had opened her eyes to the wonders of the natural world, and she felt privileged to be part of this journey. As she lay in her tent that night, the sounds of the African night lulling her to sleep, she knew that this experience would stay with her forever. Chapter 6: Cultural Immersion. The fifth day of the safari began with a visit to a Maasai village, offering the group a chance to learn about the culture and traditions of the indigenous people who called this land home. Elena was particularly excited about this aspect of the trip, eager to understand more about the human side of the Maasai Mara. The village was a lively place, with children playing and adults going about their daily tasks. The group was welcomed with open arms, the villagers' smiles warm and genuine. Elena was struck by the vibrant colors of their traditional attire, the intricate beadwork and patterns telling stories of their heritage. Nia, the young Maasai girl Elena had met earlier, was there to greet her. With a bright smile, Nia took Elena's hand and led her through the village. She introduced Elena to her family and friends, explaining their customs and way of life. Elena was fascinated by the Maasai's deep connection to the land and their reverence for nature. One of the highlights of the visit was a traditional dance performed by the Maasai warriors. The men, dressed in bright red shukas and adorned with beads, jumped high into the air, their movements synchronized and powerful. The women sang and clapped, their voices harmonizing beautifully. Elena felt the rhythm of the drums in her chest, the energy of the dance infectious. Naya showed Elena how to make beaded jewelry, patiently explaining the significance of each color and pattern. Elena was touched by the care and craftsmanship that went into each piece, realizing that these were not just adornments, but symbols of identity and tradition. The visit to the Maasai village left a lasting impression on Elena. She admired the Maasai's resilience and their ability to preserve their culture in the face of modern challenges. She felt a deep respect for their way of life and a connection to their stories and traditions. That evening, back at camp, the group shared their experiences. Each person had been touched in different ways by the visit. Peter spoke about the importance of preserving cultural heritage, while Jill expressed her admiration for the Maasai's strength and community spirit. Kofi shared his own experiences with the Maasai, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and understanding. "We have much to learn from each other," he said. "The Maasai's knowledge of the land and its creatures is invaluable, and their traditions remind us of the importance of community and connection." As the campfire crackled and the stars shone brightly above, Elena felt a deep sense of gratitude. The safari had not only brought her closer to nature, but had also given her a profound appreciation for the people who called this land home. She knew that the memories and lessons from this journey would stay with her for a lifetime. Chapter 7: The Great Migration. The sixth day of the safari was dedicated to witnessing one of nature's most spectacular events, the Great Migration. Every year, millions of wildebeest, zebras, and other herbivores embarked on a perilous journey across the Serengeti and Maasai Mara in search of fresh grazing grounds. Elena had seen documentaries about the migration, but seeing it in person was a dream come true. Kofi led the group to a prime viewing spot near the Mara River, where they could watch the animals cross. The scene that greeted them was nothing short of awe-inspiring. Thousands of wildebeest and zebras gathered at the riverbank, their nervous energy palpable. The air was thick with dust and the sounds of snorting and lowing. Elena watched with bated breath as the first wildebeest tentatively stepped into the water. The river was treacherous, teeming with crocodiles waiting for an easy meal. The crossing was a matter of life and death, and the tension was almost unbearable. Suddenly, a wave of movement swept through the herd, and the wildebeest began to cross en masse. The water churned with activity as the animals struggled to make it to the other side. Crocodiles lunged, snapping at the legs of the wildebeest, and the cries of the animals filled the air. Elena's heart pounded as she watched the drama unfold. It was a brutal reminder of the harsh realities of nature, where survival was a constant battle. She felt a mix of emotions: admiration for the animals' resilience, sadness for those that didn't make it, and awe at the sheer scale of the migration. After what felt like an eternity, the majority of the herd had made it across. The survivors regrouped on the other side, their bodies heaving with exhaustion, but their instincts driving them forward. The riverbank was littered with the fallen, a stark testament to the perils of the journey. As the group moved to a quieter spot for lunch, Elena felt a profound sense of respect for the wildebeest and their unyielding drive to survive. Kofi explained that the migration was a crucial part of the ecosystem, helping to maintain the balance of life in the region. The afternoon was spent observing the aftermath of the crossing. Predators like lions and hyenas moved in, taking advantage of the weakened and injured. It was a harsh but necessary part of the cycle, ensuring that only the strongest survived. That evening, back at camp, the group reflected on the day's events. The Great Migration had left them all in awe of the natural world and its relentless drive for survival. They shared their thoughts and feelings, each person touched in different ways by the spectacle they had witnessed. Elena lay in her tent that night, the sounds of the African night comforting in their familiarity. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness such an incredible event. The Great Migration was a powerful reminder of the beauty and brutality of life, and it left her with a renewed appreciation for the resilience of all living creatures. Chapter 8: Conservation Efforts. The seventh day of the safari was dedicated to learning about the conservation efforts in the Maasai Mara. Kofi had arranged for the group to meet with local conservationists and researchers who were working tirelessly to protect the wildlife and preserve the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The group visited a research camp where scientists were tracking and studying the movements of various animals. Elena was fascinated by the technology they used, including GPS collars and drones, to monitor the wildlife. She listened intently as the researchers explained their work and the challenges they faced. One of the researchers, Dr. Aisha, spoke passionately about the importance of conservation. The Maasai Mara is a unique and precious ecosystem, she said. We must do everything we can to protect it. That means addressing threats like poaching, habitat loss, and climate change. Elena was particularly moved by a project focused on protecting rhinos. The rhino population had been devastated by poaching, and efforts were underway to create safe havens for these majestic creatures. Dr. Aisha explained how they worked with local communities to educate them about the importance of conservation and to provide alternative livelihoods to reduce the incentive for poaching. The group also learned about efforts to mitigate human-wildlife conflict. As human populations grew, so did the potential for clashes between people and animals. Conservationists were working on innovative solutions, such as installing predator-proof bomas to protect livestock and developing early warning systems to alert communities to the presence of dangerous animals. Elena was inspired by the dedication and ingenuity of the conservationists. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for their work and a renewed commitment to supporting conservation efforts in any way she could. That evening, the group gathered around the campfire to reflect on what they had learned. They discussed the importance of sustainable tourism and the role they could play in protecting the Maasai Mara. Peter spoke about the need for global awareness and action, while Jill shared her plans to support conservation organizations through her writing. Elena felt a sense of purpose as she listened to her fellow travelers. The safari had opened her eyes to the beauty and fragility of the natural world, and she was determined to make a difference. She made a mental note to share her experiences and to advocate for conservation when she returned home. As she lay in her tent that night, the sounds of the African night once again soothing her to sleep, Elena felt a deep sense of connection to the Maasai Mara and its inhabitants. The journey had been more than just an adventure. It had been a transformative experience, one that had touched her heart and soul. Chapter 9: The Circle of Life. The 8th day of the safari began with a sense of calm and reflection. The group had experienced so much over the past week, and they were eager to soak in the beauty of the Maasai Mara one last time. The morning light cast a golden hue over the landscape, and the air was filled with the sounds of birds and distant animal calls. Kofi led them to a serene spot near a waterhole where they could sit quietly and observe the wildlife. Elena felt a sense of peace as she watched the animals come and go, each one playing its part in the intricate web of life. As they sat in silence, a family of elephants approached the waterhole. The matriarch led her herd with a gentle yet commanding presence, the younger elephants playfully splashing in the water. Elena was struck by the tenderness and care the elephants showed each other, a reminder of the deep bonds that existed in the animal kingdom. A group of giraffes arrived next, their long necks gracefully bending to drink from the waterhole. Elena marveled at their elegance and the way they moved with such grace despite their size. The giraffes were followed by a dazzle of zebras, their black and white stripes creating a mesmerizing pattern as they drank and interacted with each other. Kofi pointed out a solitary wildebeest nearby, explaining that it had likely been separated from its herd during the migration. The wildebeest's resilience and determination to survive alone were a testament to the strength and adaptability of nature. As the day went on, the group witnessed more incredible scenes. They saw a pride of lions lounging in the shade, the cubs playfully wrestling, while the adults kept a watchful eye. A cheetah rested on a nearby hill, its eyes scanning the horizon for potential prey. A pair of warthogs trotted by, their tails held high, a comical yet endearing sight. Elena felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness these moments. Each animal, each interaction, was a reminder of the circle of life and the delicate balance that sustained the Maasai Mara. That evening, the group gathered for their final campfire. The mood was reflective and nostalgic as they shared their favorite memories from the safari. Peter spoke about the wonder of seeing the Great Migration, while Jill reminisced about the cultural immersion with the Maasai people. Maria shared her excitement about the wildlife photographs she had captured, hoping they would inspire others to appreciate and protect the natural world. Elena felt a mix of emotions as she listened to her friends. The safari had been an unforgettable journey, one that had touched her deeply. She knew that she would carry these memories and lessons with her for the rest of her life. The ongoing journey. The legacy of Babel is not just a historical account, it is a living lesson that continues to resonate through time. It encourages us to reflect on our own journeys, to learn from our experiences, and to strive for a balanced and harmonious existence. Thank you for listening. Now, sweet dreams, and we hope to see you again.